Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Lex Talk Design, and today we are chatting with Avalana Simpson. Avalana is a British artist and designer and the founder of Avalana Design, a luxury homeware studio located in the north of England. Avalana specialises in creating her own ranges of wallpapers, fabrics and murals, which are rooted in storytelling and celebrate her passion for colour and creativity. Her ethos is that great design starts with authentic original art, and this is what drives her creative process. Each collection she produces begins with her individual watercolour paintings, which she then evolves into luxury wall coverings that have featured in residential and commercial interiors around the world. Welcome, Avalana.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Whereabouts do we find you today?
So I am in my home office / art studio. As you can see behind me, I've got my lovely tropical mural, my latest one from the Majorelle collection. But yeah, I just want to feel like it's always sunshiny in the Avalana world.
How gorgeous. I have to say, so for context of how Avalana and I cross paths is just good old-fashioned Instagram. I've been, following Avalana for some time, watching these beautiful, image after image of these gorgeous, gorgeous wall coverings and interiors. And then a couple of weeks ago, Avalana, you shared before and after of a living room, and the after was so powerful. I mean, I love a reveal any day of the week, but the after, and I can post on our socials, is this. You painted this beautiful. Well, you created this beautiful gold wallpaper that has these bright pink flamingos, and then you teamed it with this beautiful warm peach velvet, and like for the furnishings, and it was stunning. And then when I wrote a comment, and because I read the comment, and then I was like, my God, this is amazing. And hang on, did you say you painted this wallpaper? And you said, yes, the wallpaper is hand painted. And I almost fell off my unicorn.
Yes, like I saw your comment and I was like, it absolutely is. Like every single design that I do starts with like my watercolor art. Like absolutely. I have these whims and ideas and I just paint to my imagination. And it's honestly like the artist's dream, like to get to design to your own briefs, your own creative imaginary briefs is like, yeah, it is the artist's dream.
It is, but it takes guts as well because, when you just, especially if you're working for someone else or you're younger and you're like, I can't wait to just do whatever I want. I can't wait to just do whatever I want. Yeah. And then you close the studio door and then you get the blank page and you're like, I don't know what to do because you can get that like all talk and you're like, oh. Because we're lucky because we work in commercial design, we get a brief and it's got really strong boundaries and really strong challenges. So the more challenges, the easier the work is because you've just got to you're problem solving as opposed to creating.
Yeah, you know where you're going with it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're led then, and then you develop it to when you're ready for feedback because that's what I did. Like all the way through industry, when I graduated, I was working for different sort of companies and I was getting buyers' briefs. So I was always working with a lot of direction. So I was told like, here's our trend pack, for example, and we want you to do like 3 designs per trend. And then, you were always presenting them to the buyers or the client, and then they would feedback and get you to tweak it. And there was always like a design manager sometimes telling you, like, give me direction. So when I left, I was freelancing, obviously, got to pay them bills, but I was doing my own stuff on the side, which led into the development of my own brand. And it was one of them, like I sat down and I was like, oh, this is brilliant. I'm going to like do whatever I want. And then it was like, what am I going to design? Because, you can do anything. It's like, you've got the world to take inspiration from. So you can tell from my work, it's a lot of botanicals and a lot of nature. And we had just at the time come back from a big trip for my 30th birthday, a good 9 years ago now. But it was Costa Rica. And I was like so awestruck by like the rainforests and the foliage and the botanical forms and the ambience and even like the audio, like the bird song and the animals. So I was like, right, this is what I'm going to focus on doing, like my first collection. And that's what I did. I painted the Cantaloupe Jaguar mural and the cloud forest. And that came from as well. My sisters wanted a really green design for their living room because they house shared at the time. So I was like, just design for like family, put it together, put it on Instagram, and people were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And even a couple of the freelance companies that I worked for were like, oh, we'll have that design. And I was thinking, No, I think I'll keep this one for myself. And that's how sort of like the brand grew alongside like doing a lot of freelance work. It was just sort of like dabbling about in my own sort of creative thoughts and designing to my own ideas, which obviously at first, as you say, it's like, what the hell am I going to do? But then when you get into it, it's kind of like delving into your own creative soul as an artist and like figuring out what your styles are and what your passions are and what you're really excited by. And that's how it all came about.
That's amazing. So when you were freelancing, was that in interior design or was that as like an artist, a pattern making, like a pattern artist?
Oh yeah, no. So I graduated in printed textiles, and my first job was actually in stationery and greeting cards, which was more graphics, choosing fonts. So it got me really, I learned how to use a Wacom tablet. I learned how to do like typography and font selection, placement of graphics. But my background has been surface design, surface pattern design. So designing for textiles, wallpapers, anything with a surface, like I can create a print for. So it's print design that I've always done. So then after the graphics, I went into Graham and Brown wallpapers. And that's where I learned how to do like repeat pattern and a little bit more like ABA software. And then after that, I went into like textiles because I thought, like, I mean, it was a fantastic studio, so creative. But then I was like, I graduated in textiles. So like, I really need to like work in a textile company. So that's when I moved into like bedding and home textiles in industry, worked for a big studio there designing for like high street stores, Next, Sainsbury's, would do buy trip meetings. And that's where I became like a senior designer. So I was going to like New York, Dubai to present the briefs and the presentations of all the designs that were done. And then we would do High Textile every year. So I was like head of trends. So I would present like the trends every January at Heintex in Frankfurt. Which is also really exciting because I used to love a trend and now I don't really follow them at all. It's just now that I've got this freedom, I'm like, I just do mostly travel. I'm really inspired right now by some books that I'm reading, which are like fantasy, drama, romance. So I'm inspired by like so many things. And I think, to follow trends, I feel like it's much more commercial in a way. Whereas I think if you're an artist, you're much more wanting to use your own creative imaginary side of things to get your ideas and influences that way. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting that you raise trends because I think it is commercial, but I think trends really sit maybe in B2C because we do B2B, like business to business design, and we do have to be cognizant of trends. Depends on the brand and the company where they sit kind of in the market. But at the same time, if their brand colors are orange, no amount of green being on trend is ever going to seep into that
Yeah.
store like that. And so in some way, and it has to be future proof because, fit outs have to last for quite a few years. And, the more we get into sustainability, the longer they need to last now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I really feel like it's around that B2C production that's super driven by trends, but that's so exquisite to think about as the artist. You can kind of unshackle yourself from that. I mean, you can take inspiration if you want to and or unshackle
Yeah, yeah,
yourself.
and I think you can be influenced, and it's always good to keep a little eye on it. But yeah, just to have that, not to have to be restrained so much to like, here's the trend pack, here are like the four key trends of like next season. Because I think, it was almost like a shackle. Working in industry and designing fabrics and wallpapers to trends, it was all too easy to be bogged down by the buyers are seeing these four trends and they want, like a mid-century modern one, they want a minimalist one, and they want a maximalist one. And as an artist with my own taste, obviously, like I'm not for everyone. It's very bold, it's very opulent, and yeah. So, but it's so good to be able to build like a customer base through the past 5 years of like people that have the same taste as me. Like they don't know how to put the colors together, but here's a mural with all the color palette that you need to draw on for the rest of the room, for example. So it's that sort of thing that's been really really nice.
It's such a amazing skill and craft, I think, as well with what you do because like pattern and color, it's gorgeous. When it's done right, it's amazing. And it's really daunting trying to do it. And then you've obviously honed your craft that you know how to balance and harmonize it and not in a way where you pare it back, but au contraire, like you know how to bring up all the volumes of the color and the patterning together. And that is beyond a craft. That is like an absolute artisan gift that you've worked very hard to develop.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all come about because obviously when I first started, I had to find suppliers. And one of the main things for me was, finding local suppliers because I didn't want to give my artwork, my high resolution artwork, because that's the only assets that I had. So I was like, okay, I'm going to find local to me in Manchester. That's what it was at the time. Now currently a wee bit down the road in Cheshire. But yeah, and everything's like printed to order, so there's no like overhead. So I think the setup in this modern era is perfect for people wanting to set up on their own surface pattern design. It's allowed people like me, an artist, to have that freedom because you don't have to hold on giant batches of stock. You don't have to warehouse. So it's been brilliant. And then to sort of like find local businesses that have got such great quality of product and that, can print to order. You can go and meet with them, build a really good rapport with them. Which is what I've got now. It's allowed such creative freedom as well because it's made to order. And like one of the most enjoyable parts of my job is to work with clients that want like the bespoke design service. We want it to be customized. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so they're like, Avalana, we love these two designs. Can you merge them together? Or like, we've got this massive sofa. Can you have the jaguar like coming out, like crawling out behind the sofa? And I'm like, absolutely yes. And then having said that, the full thing like that I've kind of got into in the last few years is creating these customized ceiling murals. So instead of the design linearly going along a wall, I can create these ceiling murals that like coord with the wall, but they either come in. So like imagine the foliage growing in around the border of the ceiling, or if someone's got a really focal chandelier with a ceiling rose that can have like the trails of florals and leaves coming out of the ceiling rose. I mean, there's so much I can do. And I just feel like my biggest thing right now is like when I see a white ceiling, just put some color on it or something. Like the white ceiling, it's like, why have you got a white ceiling? And then like the absolute best thing you could do, because I think especially in the bedroom, you're lying in bed and you're like looking up. What are you waking up to see? What are you falling asleep to see? A white ceiling? No way. It needs to be so much more than that. It needs to be like, it needs to make you feel something. You know what I mean? That's what design is all about.
Yeah, and I think because we're in these conservative times, I think visually, like there's, everything, all the cars are black, grey, and white. All of the walls are, indoors, they're all white on the outside. The back fence ideally is charcoal in its most radical way. And then that's about it for the moment. But I think as well, I wonder if we're all a bit scarred from, anyone that's lived in a few rentals and lived in like the bright orange kitchen house or
Yeah.
the kitchen brown house. And we've kind of recoiled because there is, there's that like those hard and fast design rules that we've all watched on TV that you have, if you want the space to be bigger, paint it white. And then sometimes you're right, like when you look at a white ceiling, it's just oppressive. You're like, or even white walls, like
It
even though they're
really
white,
stands
it's
out. Yeah.
closing in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing with color. It is so personal. And that's it. It's like, I am such an advocate for like, you design with what colors you like. And I feel like, the one big block color wall, it is a little bit garish because the rest of the room, usually people will choose a color and they're like, yeah, let's do this. And then the rest of the room is like the ceiling's white or like the furniture. They've not managed to like really think about how it's going to work with the rest. And then obviously, walking into a house though that's someone else's color, you can paint over it, you can wallpaper over it, it's fine. Like, but color is so personal. It's about finding the colors that you absolutely love, and you're not really going to go wrong for that. But I think that's why starting with a mural that's got all the color palette and all the different tones within it, you can pick out any of them and choose like the furniture and the light fixtures and the rugs and the sofa, whatever you want from this. You're not going to go wrong because the color palette is there for you already. So I think it's such a good starting point, really, like choosing something big and bold, like a mural or a wallpaper as your starting point, get the sample in, and then just pick the colours out of that for the rest of the room. You cannot go wrong.
Yeah, that is a gold nugget. And also because your murals are, botanicals and they're wild fantasy forest scenes and things, it adds, I can tell with your work, it adds this 3D depth to the room as well. So rather
Yes.
than being because again it's like they're scared of pattern, and then but quite the opposite is true with your work. It actually adds depth of field and it softens the wall entirely, it feels like.
Yeah, and do you know what? I think it's because when I create spaces and when I go like all guns Avalana, it's like all the walls, every surface, no surface is left undesigned, and the ceiling mural, and it's considered maximalism. People often think maximalism is this big umbrella term, and you've got to like have pattern clashing. I mean, that's a maximalism is a spectrum, and it's like there's pattern clash, there's loads of clutter. My maximalism is there's passion and color saturated, but it's very considered. And you look in there and you're not overwhelmed by it. You literally feel so immersed. You're stepping into the art. So you're being transported. It's almost like that escapism vibe. So you'll go in and like, I step in here and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Marrakesh. I'm in the
Yes.
Jardin Majorelle, even though it's like pissing down because it's the UK. Do you know
Oh,
what I mean? Though, like, you're creating a vibe.
yeah, exactly. It's that's the epitome of luxury is when for me isn't so much about expense per se, it's about when someone else has taken care of all the details so I don't need to. Like, you walk into a room and you've considered every surface, everything's handpicked. That's luxury. Like
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like luxury to me is not traditional sense of it costs a bomb. Luxury to me is like a really like customer service. It's so tailored to your personal experience. Like I do that with every client that, wants the bespoke service that I literally talk them through all the designs. They get to see every set. I'm asking them questions just to make sure it's like completely their own. So before anything gets sent to print under the bespoke service, it's like a really tailored service, like Avalana to client communication the whole way through.
Maybe it's part of being a small business, like that really resonates because one of the things I love to do is just really gorgeous account management. Like if our client only wants to communicate on WhatsApp, that's what we do. If they only like WeTransfer, that's what we do. If they only like phone calls, that's what we do. Like however whatever is the easiest, we will seamlessly work in. I love that you are circling back like just it's such a beautiful level of service when the creative you're working with it's collaborative because it's easy to say but collaboration and teamwork ain't easy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm the same. I'm so flexible with people because I know like everyone has busy lives, you know what I mean? So if WhatsApp's easier, perfect. You don't have to email. They can do whatever you bloody well want. It's like, it's I'm super easy going as well. Like I think working with a creative can sometimes feel a bit daunting. Like I had one lady once, she was like, "Oh, I've never briefed like an artist before," and I was like, "I am going to make this most enjoyable experience for you." And she was going through such a hard time, with her work at the time, and I was like, "Look, when we chat, that's going to be about really fun stuff. It's going to be about color. It's going to be what you want to feel when you walk in that room. Like that's what murals can do." And so she ended up going for like a full L-shaped wall, so when she walked in, she got the full immersive and then the ceiling as well. So she was like enveloped in this space. She had one room in the house that she could do like whatever she wanted to. So I was like, right, we're going to make this your absolute pizzazz zone. And that's exactly what she needed. Getting to know people. Like I am a people person and I spend most of my time alone in my little garden office. I mean, I've got the 4 chihuahuas, bless them, but I chat away to them, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no, that's the plight of the small business owner, isn't it? Especially and then creative on top of that. It is
Yeah.
can be a bit of a solitary life.
Yes, yes. And that's it when you're trying to like bounce ideas off something. So like I'm forever even just like hitting up my family WhatsApp chat, like, what do you guys think of this? Because I've got two wee sisters and obviously my parents and they're all like super supportive. And my husband as well, but he'll just say he likes everything. So I'm like, right, I need honest opinions. And I know the fam are gonna give me that. Because like sometimes because I always start with paintings. And I remember someone asking me like, how many flamingos did you have to paint for your flamingo mural? And I was like, oh my God, you should have seen the first flamingo that I painted. I had to scrunch it up and put it in the bin. Like it was so bad because I hadn't like, I don't know what it was, but getting back to feathers and like the position of the bird, because sometimes I can't find, because I just go from photos to try and get the bird's positions. And sometimes I have to like patch it together to try and get like the frolicking position because I can't find the photo of one in that actual pose. And honestly, Renee, you should have seen this first flamingo. Oh, I should have actually, because everyone's like, oh, you should have shared that one. I was like, I know, I should have. Next time I do a really bad artwork, I am going to be like, this didn't make the cut. Because it's actually quite nice to share that part as well, I suppose.
Yeah, the cutting room floor, even whether we're doing like digital presentations or just hand sketching stuff, hand drawing, the amount of like the stacks of paper and because you think you kind of have this idea of a designer sits there, with their beret on and their fountain pen and, it's all
Yeah.
very Picasso style, but really it is just like a clock spinning faster
Oh,
and
I know.
faster. and forwards while the deadline looms, and you're like, when is the creative genius coming? Please
Yeah, yeah,
come.
because you've got to be in the right mood as well. Like, honestly, like, I'm obviously, as we discussed, like, eyelashes on, the fake tans on, but I'm usually like straight down the stairs in my pajamas, pen and painter, you know what I mean? Like, sketching away. And that's when I'm artworking. Like, I'd love to say I was artworking the majority of the time, but I'm not. I'm mostly doing like emails and like, cats are like, where's my FedEx delivery gone? And I'm like, like just chasing like logistics and like answering questions, trying to do social media posts. Oh my God, posting packaging, doing the shipping labels. There's so much admin behind, like stock levels as well. And now that I've started drop shipping, I literally am like a one woman business. Like I don't have anyone else on the ground helping me. I'm like doing it all. So trying to get painting time, and I'm trying to get some painting time. I'm going to do it this weekend because I've got no one like emailing and calling me up as much as through the week. But I think I'm just going to have to put my phone on airplane mode and just like get stuck in. That's honestly one of the main reasons that I started doing my own stuff, because I really wanted to get back into watercolors and become the artist that, my younger self wanted to be. When I was younger, I knew I wanted something to do with art and design, but I didn't know what that was. And that's why I ended up doing like the general first year at art college, which gave you like a taster of all the different disciplines. Because I was like, I really don't know what degree to go into. And I honestly thought it was going to be illustration, to be honest, because that was the most drawing one, the one where you got to illustrate and draw and paint and things. But then I got a taster of printed textiles. And when I saw there was digital print, because I mean, I hated screen printing, don't get me wrong, like, it's very traditional, but it wasn't achieving the looks and it was so long winded. But when I saw like my watercolor paintings come out as Beware on the digital, I was like, what is this? And then, so that's what I like delved into for my degree show. And it was like the wallpaper, the fabric on the upholstery, like you could almost create like little worlds, if you will, like the full thing, and then choosing like paint colors to go with it. So that's what really made me spark and think, yes, it's interiors and printed surfaces that I really want to get into, which led on to like surface pattern design. And so surface pattern design has been great, but it's now moving into interiors because I decorated a couple of bedrooms at my mum's, my two wee sisters' old bedrooms, and I got to design the whole room around my wallpaper. My mum was like, well, you can pick the paint colors, you can pick like the new headboard. So I just went for it. And then when we were decorating it, I was like, this is so cool. And it was so well received on Instagram. It was like this blooms room. And I was like, this is maybe something that I really want to get into now, like the full like interior design rather than just designing the wallpaper and the fabric. It was like, maybe I could design full rooms as well. So it's kind of, evolved into that very recently.
And it makes total sense because you're making world, like as you're talking, I'm feeling and listening to what you're saying, and you're making worlds in worlds, like the rooms are worlds within people's worlds, and it's like a one explored embellishment of their inner life coming out loud. Like, who we are at home is different to who we are at work, and who we are in the kitchen is
Yeah,
different to who we are like in the lounge room. Like, and so it's fun to be able
exactly.
to create these worlds within
Exactly.
your home where you can
Yes.
be like use different, like show off different sides of yourself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I think as well. It's always like very personal and very to your character, but then also what do you want to feel in that room? And it's all to do with like the functionality. Like, so in your lounge, are you want to predominantly relax, or do you want to entertain? Do you want to feel like really sort of like opulent and like fancy, or do you want to be like really zen and chill? All these things it's about a feeling rather than following trends. It is like almost like, what do you want to feel when you walk in there? You've got to feel something, some kind of way. And I think that's where great design comes out, is when you are making someone feel something. That is, that's definitely something that I am an advocate for, and definitely something that I focus on in my work, because that's what I do in my own house. I'm like, right, how do I want to feel in the office? I want to feel like that vibrancy. I want to spark my mood. I want to feel like uplifted. I want to feel like, very creative and inspired. So hence why I chose the Jardin Majorelle botanical lush tropical gardens. Because obviously in the UK, I've not got tropical gardens. So.
Yeah, it's so beautiful and so perfect. And I can feel the fantasy in it. Like when I look at your work, and I could be misreading it, I'm looking at it through my own lens, but I feel like Alice in Wonderland definitely like that. It's got this fantasy, this fantastical where it's partially very, very realistic. But then I also feel like, and like I can feel the critters and the fairies and the people hiding and things hiding amongst the scene. And so it feels very Moorish. It's kind of like the wardrobe of Narnia that you want to hop into.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And obviously, like, I've got clients that just want the scenes. They don't want any like animals in it, so it becomes a little bit more refined in that sense. But I mean, I have this thing, I don't know if you can see it in my work, but I love painting birds in particular. So like, a lot of birds. So like on this like slanted ceiling mural I've got, because this is literally like the old lean-to conservatory, which is now my office. And I've got this big sloped ceiling. And I was like, oh, I'd love to just, because we have little kingfishers and things down on the canal at the bottom of the cul-de-sac and little goldfinches. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to just be able to see them. And they're literally flying around with like swallows and macaws because, you know, macaws from Costa Rica. I love seeing them. So I was like, why not? Why not? We've got cockatiels in London now. I was like, please come up to Cheshire. Have you seen that? The flocks of cockatiels. I'm like, I'm going to have to get a cockatiel. I might just decoupage them in there. I might just like paint one and decoupage it right in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do much decoupage?
Well, I'm starting to. You know, I have this thing about sun motifs right now. This is it about being like an artist and like having these harebrained like ideas just flash through your mind. And I'm very much like, once I have them, I have to do it. So like, I did this big, huge sun motif, and I really want to decoupage somewhere in the house. But the thing is, I am battling Artex ceilings in this house. So I'm like, because I think that around where the light fitting is, and then the light coming out of the sun. Anyway, that is a whole other ballgame. But I'm thinking maybe for the celestial inspired bedroom, because as I say, I'm reading these like fantasy novels because it's my genre, as we've just discussed. And it's like night court, day court, and all these like fae have like these different courts, but it's always kind of celestial. So I'm thinking my bedroom's like a really long, narrow ceiling. And I'm thinking by the window, I'm going to do like daytime clouds. And then it's going to ombre into nighttime clouds above the bed. I'm going to have the moon above the light bit in there, and I'm going to have the sun at the daytime clouds, and it's going to like ombre into the darkness towards the bed. I'm like, honestly, I need to get cracking, but I need to finish some client wallpapers first, and then I could get started on the bedroom.
Oh, do you just feel like you're so cheeky in a good way when you pull off these stunts in your own home? Because it almost feels like too good to be true. Like,
Yeah, I mean, having the freedom now, because obviously renting for 14 and a half years was like, oh, especially when I started like doing my own thing, I was like, oh my God. And this is what led me to do a couple of rooms at my mum's, because I was like, I've got no rooms to decorate, or I can fling up a wallpaper because it's one of those easy removable ones, but I can't like choose any finishes or change anything really because it's rented. So it was nice to have the wallpaper, but I was like, this is not like full blown Avalana. So now that we've got this house, so I've done like the lounge that you mentioned. I've done like the little WC, and it's nothing has been like ripped out. It's just been paint and wallpaper that I've changed it, and you know, clever choices of accessories like the two mirrors in the alcove, like reflecting the flamingos out in there, and function the light around. And because it's a north-facing room, choosing those really cozy terracotta, peachy colours to go with the gold, and just keeping on that colour spectrum of like warmth, and obviously with the giant flamboyant flamingos, like the pizzazz that I want when I'm in there, when I'm having a cocktail, you know what I mean? Let's la la la. So, but I find those colours really cozy and warming when I want to chill. And then I also find them really invigorating and really excited when I want to entertain. So that was a perfect colour choice for me for the lounge and into the kitchen.
yeah. And then because this world that you've created and you live in and work in, do you find like when you're just out and about in your everyday, the other outside world a little bit jarring?
No, not really,
Because
not
you're
really
not,
at
you're
all. But I do, I
all.
do judge when I'm especially in like commercial places, and I'm like in a restaurant. Like there's been some restaurants, especially now, and the designs are so lovely, like so considered. Right, when you do maximalism, right, it's like the color palette. You're just given this huge hug, this enveloping feeling when you go in, and there was like this red restaurant that did amazing palomas cocktails, and it was like this basement, so it was like super dark, super red, super glowy amber hints of, and it was stunning, and I was just so inspired. But yeah, and I go into some places and I'm like, why is that not, some of it's been really well designed, and then there's like behind seating booths, you're like next to like a scraggy little window that's like, the theme of the place is all golds and blues and opulence, and then you've got like this like scraggy silver post when you're trying to take a selfie, and I'm like, who's designed this? Did they run out of budget? Did they run out of ideas? Like what?
I always think about that. I think, and you can, the space will always tell you something's gone wrong. Like maybe the owners are in a divorce battle, or
Yeah, yeah,
someone,
you
the
just never
relative
know.
was doing the interiors and they've had a falling out, or
Yeah,
or they've spent the budget all on the banquet seating and it means nothing else has got any budget left because you've got this like over stylized, like huge welded piece in the middle of the restaurant and everything else. And then the light fittings are like straight from the hardware store. And and it's tough when the interior tells a story of her, and the interior tells it, like the interiors, because it is, isn't it? Like it's a manifestation of what happened. Whatever's happening on the inside is happening on the outside, and sometimes you
yeah.
can read an interior like that, I think.
I know, and that's it. Like, I totally get it. Like, especially in my house as well. It's like, sometimes you've not got the budget to do the full room, so it is step by step, and that's totally fine. But as everyone knows, like if you work in a certain industry or it's your job to notice things, then you are going to notice, or you're going to look around and either feel inspired or notice things that, oh, I would have done that differently, or so it's not really judgy. It's just kind of like because you are living those sort of ideas constantly, you are noticing and picking up on like little things that, oh, I love that, or oh, I would have not done that way, or I would have done that there. It's that sort of thing, isn't it? Which I find really enjoyable, to be honest.
I do too. I think, but it can be a double-edged sword because when you're really details focused and sensitive to details, it really helps improve your work. But sometimes it's kind of exhausting because, I often hear the phrase like, you need to get over it, you need to calm down. Um,
Never.
so exactly.
I will
You
never
need to not
calm
be
down.
sensitive. I'm like, when has that ever worked? When has anyone ever calmed down calm down? Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
think to
yeah.
calm down.
Oh
It's
my
such
god, I
a good
never
idea.
thought of that. Yeah. Well, it's like my husband as
Wow,
well.
what
Like,
else do you have?
yeah, yeah, I know. Because it's
Just
like, well,
do it.
he's very calm. He's very calm, and I'm very like frantic, like hamster on a wheel sort of energy. And like, we'll just finish something, and he would like want to stand back. In the garden, we just painted the brick wall in like a bespoke masonry green that was like, like Sirocco terracotta color. And he was like, so satisfied. And I was like, so we still got through this and this and this, and my eyes going around like, what's next? And he's like, can we not just enjoy this moment of peace? Like we're finished. What? And I'm like, and then next I'm going to do this and this, and it's just the way my brain works, and it's not like I'm stressed out. It's just like I get so excited for like the vision, the overall vision. But again, if we're having to do the garden step by step, because I mean gardens are bloody expensive, so I totally get that, and it's like if I could do it all now, I would, but it's all DIY jobs and all that. So, but I just get so excited about thinking about what's next to then create the vision, the end vision that I've got in my mind. Whereas Derek just wants to like stand back and like appreciate what we've done that day, and which I do, but it's because it's excited me for the next step.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the self-fulfilling prophecy or something that is because when I'm speaking to creatives recently, like you're the third person I've spoken to recently, and coincidentally, not coincidentally, also speaking recently to an interior designer and to a mural artist. So, like a
Ah,
perfect
yeah.
junction. You could make that up. And what I noticed is they're prolific creators, and you are as well. And when I'm hearing that, because I'm a perfectionist, I'm like, squeeze it to death until everybody wants to lay down and die. And and it's awful. It is just torture. Squeeze the soap too hard. But like when because you're pumping out work, and the reason it sounds like that you don't want to take that moment and take a breath is because once you've executed that Mother Nature hates a vacuum, you're an empty vessel, and then bang, the next thing comes through, like the next creative idea. You're not ruminating, you're like powerful processing. Yeah, I need to lighten up.
There's room for us all, and we're all so different, and that's what keeps life exciting, isn't it? And like, yeah, I mean, I used to think I was a bit of a perfectionist, and in a way I am, but I'm also like this new mantra. So I read this thing recently, and it was like, at first, make it exist and make it great later, make it perfect later. So just make it exist first, and then perfect it later. So I'm now, because I'm spinning a lot of plates, I think, running the business myself, I'm like, that's what I need to do. Make it exist first, make it perfect later. So that's my new mantra that I'm living by. Like as a creative, I'm like, just make it exist first. Just make a start on it, make it exist, perfect it later. Especially when it's your own home. I mean, obviously with client briefs and deadlines like commercial projects and installs like you, like maybe you can't, but that's something that I can definitely take on board because it's like stop fanning around trying to like make it absolutely spot on the first go. It's like just make it exist first and then come back to it. And it's a lot about design process as well. Like if you like yesterday I was sat doing this brief and I was like, oh, I'm getting nowhere. I just had like my creative wasn't creative. So I was like, I'm going to do some post and packaging, you know, some of that. And stepped away from it for a bit. So I just built the walls, if you will, and did all the sort of like math first, all the calculations, set all the files up, did all that. Because I think that's the side of the brain. Sometimes it's like your other side of the brain is working and the creative side is not working. So don't try and shove it. So just make the walls exist first, pull on some elements, some artwork, step away. So I made it exist first. And then I went back to it later on and I was like, oh my God, nailed it. I managed to just instantly figure out what I wanted to do with the brief and I sorted it out. And I feel like, I don't know if it's like a side of the brain kicks in for the creative, but like that was it when I used to work in industries. Like you were meant to be plugged into the creative from like 9 till 5 till 7,
Mm.
whenever your overtime finished. And it was like, you're sat there like, I'm not in a creative mood though right now. Like I'm in a creative job and it's like, I need to do something else. And that's why it was good to become a senior designer because there was a lot of spreadsheets and admin to go along the side of it. So it was like when you weren't feeling creative, you could go on to something like that. Because I think there's definitely something to be said for like, you need to be in the right mood, especially for like when I actually get to the art working as well. Like sometimes I'll start and I'll be like, you need to stop. This needs to stop now.
Yeah, oh, I can imagine because painting, I mean, I love to draw and we do a lot of drawing with work, but I mean, we never do any painting, like no painting sketches at all. It's only ever drawing because painting is hard. Like I
Yeah.
never can mix up enough paint.
Yeah,
I
well,
always run out of the
I'm
color
always
and
just doing
I
my
have
little
to like,
oil dropper. Yeah, because I use like watercolor ink, like concentrated ink, so like I'm mixing it up. Which I also always, as a kid, love to like mix the colors together. So I still have that like little plate. I just use like an old plate. I've not even got an actual palette. Like I'm terrible. But yeah, like just because I am going to start painting. Like I think maybe this afternoon and definitely this weekend. But I always do like a little practice run now. So like I'll do a couple of like loose sketches, especially like some foliage or leaf, something I'm really comfortable with, and I'll just do a couple of washes, spot in a couple of like middle ground colors, and just like really feel how I am with it because it takes a while to get like back into the zone. But when I'm in the zone, oh, I'm lost. I am away with the fairies, shall we say. I'll just get like so immersed in it. I'm just like, I can be there for hours. I just get like an obsession with it. And Dad's like, you coming for dinner now? And I'm like, no. I just get so like, it's so into it, what I'm doing with the painting. And I find it really relaxing as well. Like when I'm in the zone, but when you're not in the zone, it can almost feel stressful because you're like, oh my God, this isn't working out. And there's so much pressure to like, because it takes so long to do even the individual elements to then build the design. So it's like, if you're not in the right mindset for it, it can become a stress. Whereas like once you're in the zone, oh, it's just, that's when the magic happens. For sure.
yeah. And then because what are you drawing? Because I would always have this fear of like, what if it's run out? What if my creativity? What if I've used it all? Like,
Really?
what do you draw on to
No.
set that?
Yeah, no, no way. Oh my God, that's never a fear I've had. I don't know. I feel like sometimes if I've got like a creative block though, I use like definitely getting in the outdoors. Like I do like running. Like I used to run every lunch break and it just helps me because, you know, people like to meditate like this. And I'm like, I can't. Like I need to be, I've got to say like my spirit animal is like a hamster on a wheel. So like my meditation is literally like to go out for a little jog. I don't even listen to music. I just listen to the birds, listen to nature. I look up at the trees. I mean, I just jog now. I don't really run. I used to be able to run. Now I'm just like, la, la, la. But it just helps me. Like, all of a sudden, I feel like my thoughts are just in order. I don't know how it works. Like, my thoughts are like this. I'm like, stop, get outside, put on the trainers, put on the running bra, get in. And everything just seems to slot in order. I don't know how it works, but it works for me. So that's how I do. That's what I do to combat the creative block.
That is genius. You have those are two absolute, well, three, your prolific work and then bringing through the next piece that wants to come through. And your first, it has to exist, then you can perfect it is absolute genius. And then I love the visual of as you're pounding the pavement, it's like your thoughts have become files in the filing cabinet, and they're
Yeah, that's
because
what it feels like.
yeah, I can feel that like a filing drawer. And there's that saying, "Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast." And it's like motorbikes or race cars. Like when you're as you go faster, the car or the motorbike wants to straighten up, and when you turn corners, that's when you wash off speed. And so it's kind
Yeah,
of like a metaphor as well. And it's the same
yeah,
thing like with writing. It's kind of pulling all of the thoughts into one line, and they yeah, sent to
yeah, yeah.
file.
Instead of a big swirl, it's like it's all ordered. I don't know how it works, but it works for me, and so that's what I've stuck to the whole time.
Speaking back to your clients and projects, and then you're expanding into more comprehensive interior design. Do you have any dream projects in your mind's eye that either like looks wise or clients wise or destination wise that you'd love to
Yeah.
do?
Oh my God. I mean, I'd love to do like crazy hotels now. People like the honeymoon suites that maybe want like a little bit more of a full sort of getaway immersive escapism. Like that Paradiso hotel, it's all like pinks and things like that. And they have like artist rooms. They have these like glass boxes where like hotel bedrooms are in. I mean, it's madness, but I do love a bit of madness, and I think my designs would fit in perfectly there. I'd love to do some like crazy design projects for some like big mainstream hotels. Like, I think that would be the dream. But I mean, for me, everything's exciting. So I had this lady from Texas, and she got in touch through Instagram DM, and she was like, I love your office, which is this design, and the ceiling. I've got a giant yellow boa constrictor and I'm designing its cage. I would love to have your murals and the ceiling mural within its cage. So I have designed a wallpaper and a ceiling mural for a giant yellow boa constrictor. And I am dying to see the final result. I was like, please send me photos when that's done. Because that was like one of the coolest things ever. Like, cause that's it, designing like inspired by nature, going back to nature, like going into this like boa constrictor's enclosure. Like, how cool was that? Like, I was just so excited by it because I love a mad story. I love a mad design.
Yes, I love that woman. She's like, my boa constrictor has rights, and they've got, it's like, it's really important. Really not feeling the ambiance here, so I'm really going to have to reach far afield. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, all the way in Texas. I was like, I love this girl. Like, she is like literally just, I mean, I had a woman in Florida who had birds in a room, and she was like, I need one of your murals for my bird room. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And she ended up buying like for 3 other rooms as well. So she became like my number one Florida client. That's when I just started out. So I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I feel like, there's always going to be a place for like nature designs because, I mean, it's nature. It's, that's the timelessness about it. People might look at my designs like, oh my God, they're so colorful and so loud, but so is nature. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I like to bring inside. And it's, yeah,
Yeah.
in all its glory.
Yeah, and I think I can understand. I mean, birds symbolically are beautiful anyway, but I remember going to the zoo a little while back and we were in the aviary, like the aviary enclosure, and they've got all like the water birds and then flight birds and things. One of those ones that you can walk through and they can poop on you
Yeah,
equally.
yeah.
Um, but but looking at the birds, like the ducks, they have these beautiful, I think they're mandarin ducks, and they are black chocolate brown, and then they've got accents of like good bright, like basketball orange, and then that beautiful like peacock blue and that bluey green, and then with the white, and just the color palettes
Oh,
on their own. They were so
yeah,
perfect. They were their own little, like you could have just photographed them, swatched them, and they were their own color stories.
yes, yes,
So I can
yes.
understand that you have like, apart from everything else that's awesome about birds, like they do have the most beautiful color. Mother Nature really nails a color palette.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like looking into nature. And I don't know what it is about birds. I just find them so interesting and just so beautiful to paint. Like, apart from botanicals, which are equally absolutely, like, I so enjoy botanicals, but I feel like birds just, as you say, they've got their own unique color palettes, the structure of the wings and the feathers, and they've got these almost like these like color pop beaks. And then when you really look at the feathers, like around the eyes and around the head, especially the males. I mean, I don't know why the men got all the bloody good colors, but anyway, there we are. I'm working it for the humans. But yeah, so like just looking into nature for like you look at a tropical scene or going to Marrakesh and seeing like the natural desert stone walls with that pinky terracotta color. So that's what I've done my brick walls now in our garden because I'm like I'm tapping into some of that. It's just that's the other thing about going abroad and just stepping off a plane and being instantly transported after a couple of hours to like a whole new land. I mean, that's what I want to feel like when I walk into a room. It's like, oh, where am I now? And we've got that control, especially as an artist. Like I have got the ability to make that happen, and that's what excites me so much about what I do.
Exactly, because that's what I mean, like that you're creating spaces that are so exquisite, almost feels cheeky because we can kind of have a tendency to have bars in front of, holding up bars in front of our own face. But really, you can do whatever you want in your own space. It's really no one's business but yours. But like even I just feel like sometimes life gets kind of trampled out, and you're like, oh God, just get the beige option. Like I'm out, and that's why it. We recently renovated. We finished a year-long renovation. It almost killed us, and it's still too, yeah, too soon. Oh, it was wild and torture, but in a really fun way. One of my spirit animals for design inspiration was Sybil Faulty from Faulty Towers,
I love it.
and we got
Excellent.
some. Oh, yeah, and I don't know if it's is it Jonathan Adler? I don't know if it's his spirit animal, but that's we bought these cushions and his matching rug from Jonathan Adler that's to me very Sybil Falch, big psychedelic purple and like emerald
Love.
purple and greens and beautiful jewel purple swirly tones and things. And
Ah,
then, the
love
rug
it.
matches the cushions with this wacky pattern and it just never fails to delight me. And it's so, it's just one part of the lounge room. It's not like anything to do with as immersive as the works that you
Yeah.
do, but
Oh no, I mean
it,
it sounds amazing. It sounds wonderful to
oh,
me.
it's just cheers me up. It's so lovely. But you mentioned Marrakesh, and that's the joy of traveling. Like certainly the gardens throughout Thailand, they're so beautiful. Like even you can go be in Bangkok and you can be like right in the middle of the city and go somewhere and they've got an indoor courtyard with the most beautiful landscape design I've ever seen. Like it's so gorgeous. And I think, wow, like everyone has their corner of just bringing something alive in the most beautiful way. And sometimes I just get those hits as well. I don't know. I assume you're the same. Like you can be any just in your regular life and you just get this like bolt of lightning that you desperately wish you were in Marrakesh right now, or you wish you were in Costa Rica right now, or up in the mountains somewhere in the, between Italy and France. And it's so visceral because it's so lovely that people have their own signature design and stuff that you just want to be immersed in it immediately.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. I mean, even you mentioning, these big colorful pieces in your home are the things that like make you feel really happy and just like make you smile when you walk in. And I think that's what a lot of people miss is like they just go for the safe option. But really, like if you are brave enough to go for something that is like more colorful and obviously colors that you love that makes you feel a certain way, that's when you walk in a room, that's when you know you have like the design has achieved its goal because it's made you feel like, yes, this is my home. Like I am home. This is me happy. It's just sparking that joy, making you feel that really nice way. And I think it's so important as well for people to embrace color. And I feel like recently as well with whole maximalism trends coming in, people are they want to learn about color. They want the confidence with color. So that's all it is confidence. And I feel like with the people that I've dealt with, buying my colorful murals and they're like, Avalana, what paint color would you choose to go with this? Or what sofa? I'm out with these two sofas. So I find like a lot of time I'm like helping clients like, refine their looks around the wallpaper, which is really cool. But this is why I've sort of started thinking to myself, maybe I should go into interiors more because it's like, giving the client the color confidence. So they've gone for the mural, but then they need the confidence to be able to pick and choose. I mean, my biggest thing, as I touched upon at the start of the call, was that I mean, look at the full mural. Because it's watercolor as well. There's so many different tones and hues in there and colors. Like, just use that as your color palette. Like, get a paint match for any of the tones. But again, like I can sort of help them mock up and visualize. So I can put their wall mural and then put like the different paint colors against it. And, they can, so it's visualization as well, I think. So it's confidence and then being able to visualize. So I'm very good in my mind at being able to like build it in my head, like somewhere up here. Like I can see it all in my mind's eye. Whereas obviously learning that some people can't do that. So it's like you've got to like show them physical images of that to like help them figure it out and which one is their preferred taste as well. Because I might like the darker green with this, but they might like the lighter green with this. And it's just personal preference. It's all, yeah, it's just art. It just depends what you prefer.
Yeah, and also that like it's great that you can. I'm so grateful that you're moving like further afield into full interiors because it can get you can get a bit of a fright, I think, on a personal level with interior design if you don't ramp up. Like you say you know you get the big gorgeous wall mural and it is absolutely killer and you love it, but if you don't bring up everything else in the room with it, it will be at such discord that it will have
Yeah,
its own vibration that the house can't support. And so and it feels so counterproductive. And it happens the same with people's outfits as well. I think that they do one big stunt and they stop because they get a fright because it's such a big stunt. And I'm like, no, 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 keep going. Like you need more. Like we're gonna need
yeah,
bigger hair, we need better posture, we need higher heels. Like don't stop now.
yeah,
Like so, you know, you
yeah,
need navy blue paint on the rest of the walls. You need a shag pile carpet. Like you need a
yeah,
chandelier or yeah, things. And you're like, oh my God, I've already done the one big thing. I'm like, no, no, you know, you need three or four. Let's you know, like a
yes,
mixing test, like let's ramp it all up. And
yeah,
that's
exactly.
absolutely what they need you for.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's all down to, I'll tell you what it is. It's just confidence and being able to visualize and then being able to, make that decision. I think a lot of times it's like for someone just to be like, that's the paint color, go for that. And they could have chosen any one of these greens and it would have worked. But they need someone to just be like, hold their hand and be like, go for this green. It's going to look ace. And they do it and it'll, but any one of these would look amazing. Do you know, it's just confidence. It's confidence. And I think once maybe someone's like worked with me, they've got confidence to go into other rooms and follow that sort of plan of choosing colors out of like something, because it might not be a mural. It might be, in the bedroom, might be like a bed, like a duvet set that's got like all different colors in it. And they're going to just plan the whole room about this because they absolutely love this duvet set. So they're going to go for all the colors. And that's the whole point. It's like, look at something that's been designed with lots of color that you absolutely love. It could be a single cushion cover and then follow that as your color palette because someone that's got a design creative eye has already put those colors together. You can see it works. So just follow that around the room. Now, it doesn't work all the time. Sometimes, you've got to have the creative eye to be like, well, that color shouldn't have gone there. But it's great. I just think it's such a playground. Like, just have fun with it. Because, like, my mother-in-law, she's like, "Oh my God, how have you been confident to paint the cabinets lilac?" And I'm like, "Well, if I don't like it, I'll just paint them a new color and live with it for a while. It might grow, and you might think, actually, I really." Because I did those cabinets, and it's kind of like pink in some lights, but then purple and lilac in other lights. It depends if it's like cool daylight or warm evening light. It's one of those like chameleon colors. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, I don't know if I like this. But then when I saw it in the evening, I was like, yeah, we're in. We're in. It's good.
Yeah. And it can feel counterproductive. And sometimes the most neutral color is the lilac, or the most neutral color that you could do it is burgundy, or dark green teal, and it just doesn't feel, you kind of have to go against the grain. You got to kind of unlearn a few cultural conditionings, I think, to be able to lean in and just get nuts. Because as you're talking, I'm thinking about fashion. To me, fashion's exactly the same with outfits. Like back to confidence, like the prom or a wedding dress situation, and there's a lot of emphasis that we're going to get dressed up for this. We're getting dressed up. Your wedding dress. You're getting dressed up, and probably maybe for the third time in someone's life, they wear a strapless dress. And they spend all day hunched over, and then you just see the hand like, grabbing it, yanking it up all
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Um,
And they're uncomfortable. And yeah, it just ruins the whole vibe. The whole aesthetic is
yeah,
ruined.
yeah, like the illusion, unless your areolas are popping out, like I don't touch this. Trust and believe that Nan's got your back. Nan will spot if a nipple sits out. Like Nan's got this,
Exactly.
so don't worry.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's shoulders back, hair up, heels face the front, like stride out, make it work. And that's the attitude I think as well with interiors. That's such a gold nugget.
Yeah. I mean, it is like I always wear, like, I've got a colourful pair of glasses for literally every outfit that I've got. I mean, the orange is kind of given. I've got usually go for the pink, but everyone's always like, "Oh, I could wear these around," and I get compliments. I was like, "Oh, I wish I had the confidence." But I'm like, "Hey," or "I wish I would suit them." And it's like, "But you do, you do. You just, as you say, like I've gone for the orange here. I always wear bright colors. Like I've got pink fluffy slippers on, and it's just
Gorgeous.
about like just go for it. Just have fun. Like if you love them, put it on. Put it on. Like usually I'd have like big earrings on, like my specs. It's like dressing with confidence. Again, it just boils down to like if you got the confidence to wear it, people always think like, oh, I could never pull that off. But you could. You absolutely
Yeah,
could. It's just about how you feel inside. If you're going to wear the glasses and they're going to be like, you know what I mean? It's about like being like, yes, here I am. And it makes you have so much happier. Well, I'm a colourful person, obviously. So like wearing a lot of colour, having it on my hair and having it on my glasses, having it on my slippers, on my nails, like it's just, I've gone for the whole ensemble. And that's what you got, like, you might just like, one pattern shirt and, that's maybe comes out in unit years. You just go for the accessories, like the smaller cushions or like the loud pattern. And you have maybe like, I mean, I always think ceilings can go for a pattern. Like maybe you just take the pattern on the ceiling. I don't know. It's just like different things like that. But having a play around is definitely, it's all about confidence and being playful with it. Just be playful and just try it. If you don't like it, take your glasses off, put a different jumper on and paint your nails a different color, but try it out. Try it on for size.
gorgeous. Thank you. Such good nuggets. May I ask, because we ask all of our designers this, what does design mean to you?
Good design means to me, well, as I've touched on before, good design is about, how has it made you feel? Has it made you feel some kind of way? Has it left a lasting impression? Has it made you stop and go, wow, this is, you might not like it, but it's made you stop and think. It's bringing out an emotion in you. So I feel like good design is definitely something that makes someone feel something. It's not just like, oh, that's nice. It's like, oh my gosh, like that is stunning, or oh my god, look at the colors. But it's making people. It's a talking point. It's bringing something out in you. It's making you stop and think like, do I like this? I think I do like this, or like, wow, my god, look at the colors in that, or like, oh, the large scale composition, or you walk in somewhere and your eyes are just traveling everywhere, and it's like taking it all in. I just feel like an emotional response to something, like you're saying about your colorful Jonathan Adler rug. You walk in there and you're like, oh, I love it. And it's like that sort of, it's making you feel something. And I think that is where good design comes in.
Absolutely is so true. And sometimes I walk into somewhere and it's so beautiful, I just get instant jealousy. Like I just want it so bad. I'm like, God, this is so not God, I can't even, I just want to close my eyes 'cause it's so good.
Yes. I know. Like, honestly, like, that's what I mean about visiting. I just find sometimes these like random places to go that I just love the interior. So I must go and visit it in person. I want to be in that space to experience the feeling of being in that space. And like, it is so inspiring. Other designers of like, what have they done for this surface? And oh, they've matched, a gloss tile with these tassels. And, it's that sort of thing. It's like, yeah, just being in the vibe and like experiencing like the design of a space is to me like the most exciting thing. So yeah, good design is definitely, it's making you feel something. That is my mantra.
Ah, brilliant and good words to live by. Before we wrap up, have you got any projects on the horizon we should keep our eyes peeled for?
Yes. Right now I'm actually working on a big sun lounge room, which is massive for this lady's house. So I'm going to do like a big bespoke, all of the walls, the slanty ceiling, and it comes up to a big flat, really long ceiling. So it's going to be totally customized, bespoke, possibly some like original new artwork pieces going in there. So that is really, I think it's going to be one of my new silver substrates as well, because we're going to sort of tint that into like a champagne gold rather than the sort of bright gold that I've got, like the golds and the coppers and the flamingos. This one's going to be like the silver substrates, which I've been playing around with tints to make it that sort of like silvery champagne gold, which is a lot more subtle, a lot more sophisticated, because this lady wants sophistication in her sun lounge room, because it gets a lot of sun as well. I think like where the yellow light bouncing in, we're going to rain that in inside with silvers and the champagne tones. And maybe like a bit of like blue inky paintings, just to like really sort of like counteract that and juxtapose the warmth with some like really sophisticated like indigo inks, maybe a huge tree, because you can see the end wall, the media wall that she's got from the kitchen. As soon as you walk through the house, you can see like there's a glass door and you can see this wall. So I'm really having to think about what is that sort of like focal point going to look like? This giant mural on the end. And then all the walls and the ceiling are going to have to be like coordinate and tie it in, which I'm really excited about. And then I've got an underwater whole new, because I wanted to do an underwater collection for so long, but as I say, like the collection hand painting timings are just, so I'm doing like a powder room for a lady in America, and it's all going to be, so I have pitched it to her, we're also going to do metallic because I feel like the shimmer of the ocean. But I was like, I can't paint humans, so I'm not going to put a mermaid in it. But what I will say is, you are the mermaid. So when you walk in that powder room, you are your mermaid, and you are in your metallic, shimmering oceanic garden with seahorses, you know, all the pretty seaweeds and the corals. And we're sort of going to take it up the walls, and then we're going to have it almost like the waves at the top. And then, because she wanted butterflies herself, so it's like, how are we going to do this? That's what we're going to do. We're going to have the waves at the top of the walls, and then sort of like splashing out into the border of the ceiling, and then butterflies and possibly a sun motif, which I'm obsessed with at the minute, around the ceiling light. So she's in this little like mermaid garden, and then looking up, and then up to the sky with butterflies in the sun, you know, poking through above the waves. Ah, super excited.
Oh, that is great. And powder rooms are so ripe for the taking of
Ah,
doing cool stuff in. Like, I love a powder room moment. And the only one I can think of, I think it's called the Winery in Hong Kong. And they've got one of them is wallpapered with Grace Jones, like an animated Grace Jones wallpaper, and the other wallpaper
like
I think
wow,
is David Bowie, and like it's
yeah,
his face over and over and over again, and it's so lovely. It's like the most Studio 54 disco powder room of all time.
loving it.
Yeah, so but your mermaid bathroom is the powder room is absolute next level. That is going to be amazing.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So like currently, so I've sketched out the seahorses, and I've kind of been, because this is it. I've got to research like, because the sort of brief is like pretty ocean life, so like no tentacles, anything like that. We want you to be like, what would a beautiful mermaid have in her little cove garden? You know, so it's going to be like the prettiest coral, the prettiest seaweed, you know, all these like fronds and things coming up, but in like a really beautiful movement sort of way. And it's one thing to paint botanicals from like earth, the terra firma, to then doing the under the water, which is always something that I wanted to do. So this project has definitely given me like a little bit of a deep dive into like painting the underwater botanicals, because there's a lot of movement now. You want to try and capture that, don't you, in your artwork? And then obviously, so there's like the artwork, choosing the elements and how to paint them so they almost look like they're cascading through like rippling, moving water. And then it's like how to build the design once I scan all the artwork in, how to build the design to make it feel like, you know, because it's about scale then, isn't it? I'm very big on scale. So it's like, you don't want these ditzy little teeny weeny corals. You want it to be like, you know, you're in the flowing fronds of like the seaweed and the corals and things. And like, there's a little seahorse coming towards you. Just like, it's just madness. But it's like the world I want to live in is the world I design. Basically, that's it.
Yes,
And that is a
and
wrap.
so and as you are, ain't that the rub? Mic drop.
I was just saying it then and I was like, that is it. I've finished. And it completed it, mate. Boom.
Boom. Oh, look, thank you so much for your time. Avalana, you have been an absolute delight and joy. And we'll put in the show notes, of course, where people can find you on your website, at your store, and on Instagram. And yeah, I cannot wait to see the photos of the powder room and everything else. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Same back right at you. I've really had the best time. So thank you very much for having me on, Renee.